Kezo den den ayen zender And now I'd like to ask of you that as we listen to the Dharma, please modify or fix your motivation so that you listen to this teaching with the kind heart, the pure motivation of bodhicitta. Now, generally, in terms of the common vehicles, I've been explaining the meaning of the Four Noble Truths briefly. And yesterday, I explained about the meditations on the four foundations of mindfulness and the meditating on the 16 aspects of the Four Truths. And following that, I began to speak about the particular Mahayana methods of meditation. These are how do we meditate upon relative and ultimate bodhicitta. And so I discussed how we practice taking inference as the path by analyzing logically, and we can develop certainty, and then we meditate based upon that. And so then following that, I began to speak about the profound path of the secret mantra Vajrayana vehicle. And when we are doing the practice of the secret mantra Vajrayana, we do not emphasize we do not emphasize external things. Instead, we primarily work with our own internal mind in order to be able to recognize it and then rest within samadhi, recognizing it. Now, the order of the practice, as is generally taught, is that first we look at the mind in stillness, then we look at the mind in motion, and then we look at the mind in relation to appearances. And so there are using these three methods, we are able to see what you can call the nature of the mind. You can call it the nature of the Dharma expanse. You can call it the nature of all phenomena. In any case, it is the same, and you meditate upon and you rest within the meaning of that, and in order to realize the meaning of the Dharma nature, the expanse, as it is. By doing this, we're able to exhaust all of the cognitive and afflictive obscurations and reveal the ultimate result. And so this is the practice of the secret mantra Vajrayana. Now, yesterday I described looking at the mind in stillness. So looking at the mind in stillness, we first enter samadhi, we rest in equipoise and shamatha meditation, and then we look at what is the rester. What is the essence of the rester? Where is it resting? How is it resting? And so forth. Looking at this, we can recognize the essence of the mind. We realize that it is empty of nature, and yet its essence is clear. We can call this the union of clarity and emptiness, the union of appearance and emptiness, or the union of expanse and wisdom. Whatever we call it, this is the method of resting in equipoise, meditating upon that meaning. And so next I would like to speak about looking at the mind in motion.
The Justin Davota, repeat audience by my Bateka, Kareto, Nicola, you can do, Kadu can do, Yabu, Tagi, whatever. Teta, Sente, Nihun, the dog, Coxola, you know, the Canani, do, Candidin, Nigan, Ninking more, the Candido, Tagi, whatever. Nijuru, the dog, Coxola, and Nihun, the Tati, Mochi, but with the Jona. Yakaka non to giurela, non to giuditela, non to mode, and non to giudu, and giudo, tata non to giona, tenete giurutuni, non to the giurjo, non to giusse to Kaka, singing and by Carne, Tangaranga Sajata Vota, Ninda Ruda Vota, Tenzolomo like Carne, Adela Chuga. Chuki come to say, not thank you, Lord, to buy it in number Hippimola, and Sunik and number J, Shari or K. Sharne, Tati, the Kambana and Kamba to it in the go to Nayore, give him to Nayore, somebody over the Sharon to tell her. They shall to tell her, Kana Shakato, sending more like Shatu, Kandi Shakato, Yapo, Dana, not to the Sana Shakato. Yona, Swini, the number Yarando, Kande, Yarando, Yabo, Dana, Nitty, Nelute, Ma, Hako, Wanda, Nishiji, on the way in Betena, Tatela, Jodun, Tawa, Sumbre, Joe said, not on troll, not on troll, the Latin and the Negi or the Negi or Marella, many Picasso, and not to content Trogo, Yabo, started with the Patica, Dane.
And so, whether we are looking at the mind in stillness or looking in the mind in motions, we are not looking to find out what the reasons are why it's doing it. We aren't using inference. We aren't examining or investigating logically. So what is it that we need to do? Well, we need just to have an actual experience, a direct experience of looking at it. It's like if you are an ornithologist, a bird scientist, an ornithologist who's studying birds, and you do field work. What do? You go and you look and you see, where does the bird sleep? When does it get up? When does it go look for food? When does it go to sleep? What does it do? You don't really search for any reasons or explanations or logic. Instead, you just look to see, what is the bird like? What does it do? What is its color? What is its shape? And it's in the same way when we look at the nature of the mind. We just look to see, well, what is resting? Where is it resting? How is it resting? What is the nature of what's resting? And so it's the same when we look at the mind in motion. When we look at that mind in motion, when we've got a little bit of a recognition of the mind in stillness, and sometimes what happens is that a thought moves. And as a thought moves, you just look to see, well, what's the essence of what's moving? How is it moving? Where is it moving? What is that thought like? You just look to see what it is. Sometimes we'll have a thought that is like an image that appears in the mind, an image of a house or something like that, a house or a place or whatever. In Dharma jargon, what we call this is the meaning universal. It's like sometimes it's called the meaning generality, but the meaning universal is another term. The meaning universal, this means like an image that appears to the sixth mental consciousness. When we have an image of a house appear to our mind, and it looks like it's square, and we can see the windows and the doors and so forth. But where does it appear? Does it appear in the essence of the mind? Where is the thought? Does the thought appear in the mind? Does it appear somehow in the aspect of that image? So we just look at it, and as we look and investigate it, then we will come to understand the nature of that, and we'll get certainty in the nature of that. And so this is looking at the mind in motion. Motion here means when thoughts are occurring. When the thoughts are occurring, then we aren't resting in samadhi. While we aren't and at that time that we are not resting, we then look and see, well, what is it that's moving? How is it? We look at the nature to see how it is, what its essence and so forth is like. And this is looking at the mind in motion.
Chitang Lola, Hang Sanla, Zuning no Bacharatela, Candidate Shagado, Yabu, Tawa Jeta, Nipate, Gadu Ganoto, Candidate Ta, Nika Sympathy Ga, 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 Joe, Nipe, Gabu Ganoto, June, Tani, Gamu, the Candidate, Gas, and the Candidate, Nika Do. Dumhargan number dear Joe, the Dumhargan number 10 to June, do Sempa Joe, Sempa do, that the Jumaka, do the Candendo, Gaga non to Dedo, Duga non to the Chamber Candendo, Nita, Kuzuko, the Senaka, Takala, Gadula Chamber Yore, the Kuzula, Tati more the Dada, Gadu non to the Chamber Yomari, more. Tate Bando, Yomarella, Teta Mote, Tawa Tela, Gadu Tane, Judu Tawa.
Now, in some of the instructions on looking at the mind in motion, some instructions say that when a thought occurs, then you look at that thought, you look at its nature, you look at how it is, and so forth. Then a second way of looking is that sometimes, it's like when you have an image, you look at the image that appears and you see how that arises and what its nature is like. The second way of looking is when you have feelings of joy or sadness in your mind, and you have these happen in your mind. So when you have a happy or joyful feeling, then you try to make that joyful feeling. You make yourself have a joyful feeling, a really happy thought. And when you have that really thought, then you look at what is the nature of that? What is the nature of the happiness? What is the happiness? Then you have a sad thought. And when you have a sad thought, this has the aspect of suffering. So it's a sad, a depressing thought. And when you look at it, what is the nature of that suffering? What is the nature of that sadness? So when you look at it, what is the nature of the sadness? What is the nature of the joy? Is there a difference between the natures of the joy and the sadness? When we think about it in relative terms, if we just look right at it, of course there's a difference between happiness and sadness, but that is the relative difference. If we look at the essences, there's no difference in their nature between joy and sadness. In their essence, they are not separate. And so in this way, looking at their essence is using thoughts of joy and sadness to practice looking at the mind in motion. And so that is looking at the natures of joy and sadness. We can also use the afflictions. For example, we can use thoughts of greed or hatred or lust and hatred that arise, and that's also fine. Sometimes we have feelings of desire that arise in our minds. Sometimes they're very strong thoughts of desire, and when they happen, if you look at their essence, what is their essence? What is the nature of desire? You don't follow the thought of desire. You don't block it either. You just look directly at the essence of the desire and you meditate upon that. Sometimes you have a feeling of a thought of something unpleasant, and that makes you feel aversion or hatred. Then you look at the essence of that hatred. You don't follow the hatred. You don't let one hatred lead to the next hatred, nor do you block the hatred. Instead, you look at the essence of the hatred. What is the essence of the hatred like? You see that it is empty of nature. And so in this way, there are these three different ways to look at the mind in motion. So these three different ways are to look at the images that appear in the mind, to use joy and sadness, and to use the afflictions. And if you look at any of them, or if you use any of them, then there is a way to recognize what you have not recognized, to experience what you have not experienced. And so when we meditate, we first meditate upon them, rest and look in their essence in order to recognize them. And then eventually we will also be able to take them as the path in order to increase our experience and realization. And so for this reason, there are the practices of taking joy and sadness as the path, and the practice of taking the afflictions as the path. For example, sometimes we feel joy, and this joy overcomes our mind. We're distracted. We lose ourselves to distracted. Sometimes we feel so sad, we get really depressed and worried, and we're unable to control our own minds. We are so depressed. And when that occurs, then you look at the essence of this. You can, and you'll be able to experience that its nature is empty, but its essence is clear. And you have a little experience of this, and when you can do that, then you will be able to take the joy and sadness as a path. This will also increase your realization, and also it will pacify the joy and the sadness. And with the afflictions, sometimes we are overcome by the afflictions. Sometimes we're overcome by desires. Sometimes we're overcome by hatred. And when we are overcome by them, then we should look at the essence. And when we look at the essence, we'll see that it is naturally free of any elaborations or concepts. And so doing this is called taking them as the path.
Vajra, Tatela, Saki, Rick tossing it, Nating the tossing it, that repeat Rune, no saying Bala, then Panami or Inaya, Tanda, that's what you typical Comjapa Salati, repeat Dodgy or Mare, Angarancho say, no ala, Tala Capsula, Chitanga, Dodgy Mazi, Capsula, Kandi Kagi or Children know the chili about Nangi, but the Nana Batabo, Tapena, Gilungun, the Debanayi, the children hungry about and you Yena, Titana, Yapu, Tita, Teta, Yungu, Mare, Ranga, Selna, Harney, Nuzuni, Zujanabade, Tombi or Mato, Ranga, Selna, Masharawala, children put in Toya, Marela, teacher Naranga, Selna, Carriore, teacher Na, no, the children to Bati Mare, no, the Nonga Selna, Carriore, you see teacher No, Sam. Ayapu, the Tani, no, the candidate Cagando, that no saying, but the Mohipa, Perna, Monum Jacobsalaya, Redon, Ravatan, Combaton, Tempton, Indon, Dadula, Sopa Mombo, Chargi, teacher, you are a natural, you are married in Nangasana, Chargi, Nangasana, Caroy, but no sending more. Pity in the Nimino in Rangasana, Chargi, or this and the heroine that no saying Bala, Moshibata,
Now the third type of investigation is looking at the mind and appearances. And so when we look at external when we look at external appearances, we look at them and then are able to experience the nature of the mind. And this is called looking at the mind in relation to appearances. And there are 4 stages in this instruction. The first stage is viewing appearances as mind. The second is viewing the mind as empty. The third is viewing emptiness as spontaneously established. And the fourth is viewing the spontaneously established as self-liberated. So these are the 4 stages. The first of these 4 stages is looking at appearances as mind. Now, in the Sutra school, this is taught by as the view of the mind-only school, where it is said that appearances are mind. Now, how do they establish this? Well, they establish it by logic. They logically prove that all phenomena are mind. And for example, if we look at external objects, the coarse external objects or the gross external objects are seen not to be established on their own, but rather to be appearances because of interdependence. And so this their nature, the phenomenal nature is that they're not established on their own. Then when you look at the subtle particles that seem to make them up, they also cannot be established as having any parts. They cannot be established as being either a single thing or multiple things. And so they cannot be established either. And in this way, because no external thing can be established at all, it is proven that all appearances are just mind. And the reason that they are just mind is because they appear because of mind. And so this is showing that mind, and so they have logics to prove that mind so they use logic to prove that appearances are mind. Now, by using these logics, are we able to develop the superior certainty in this? We are. And there are logics such as the logic of clear awareness and also the logic of always being observed simultaneously that prove that appearances are mind. However, in the secret mantra Vajrayana tradition, we don't really examine this logically. Instead, we just look at external appearances. Generally, it appears to us, before we examine anything, it appears to us as if the external objects are outside, the internal mind is inside, and it's sort of like we're looking through windows and seeing external objects that are out there somehow. That's the experience we have. But when we look at how it actually is, it isn't like that. When things occur, when appearances occur to our mind, they appear to have the appearance of being an external thing. And yet, if the mind does not occur, no appearance happens. So if there's no cognition, then there's no appearance. And because of that, we can say that that appearance is merely an appearance to the mind. And it is not an external thing. It is appearing to the external mind. And so therefore, it is appearing to the internal mind. And therefore, the appearance is mind. So how is it that appearances appear? They appear in the essence of the mind. It's like the appearances we have in dreams. When you're asleep at night and you have a dream, you can dream of mountains, rivers, valleys, houses, places, people, and so forth. And when you dream of them, they all appear to be there. But are they actually outside of yourself? They're not outside of yourself. And yet they appear to your mind. So you can see that that appearance is just your mind. It is the same with the appearances that we have in the daytime. They appear to the mind. And so it's necessary for us to recognize that appearances are mind. So of the 4 steps of looking at the mind in relation to appearances, the first step is recognizing that appearances are mind. And once we've recognized that appearances are mind, what do we do next? We need to recognize that the mind is empty. So appearances occur in the mind, and then if we start looking at, well, what is this mind to which the appearances occur? If we look at it, we can't really identify anything there. There's no shape, no color, no place, no going, no place it comes from, no place it goes to, no place it stays. And so its essence is empty of nature. Yet at the same time as it is empty of nature, there are still appearances. And so experiencing this is called recognizing that the mind is empty. Now the third step is said to be recognizing that the emptiness is spontaneously established. So what does this mean? Well, when we look at the nature of the mind, the essence of the mind is empty, and as it is empty, we need to experience this. But when we experience the empty nature of the mind, is it nothingness? It's not. There is a mind there. But is it a thing? Does it have the aspect of a thing? It does not. It is it has the aspect of being an empty essence. And yet at the same time as it has the empty essence, the emptiness is spontaneously established. Spontaneously established or spontaneously occurring means that still various appearances can occur. You can recognize anything, you can see anything, anything can appear. So it is empty, but that emptiness appears as spontaneous occurrence. And so in this way, it is the emptiness. It is called the emptiness occurring as spontaneously established.
Thrangu ke nam to khage yore, Ngembe ke nam to khage yore, Nyamon ke nam to khage yore, Kunzo Songju ke san la so ke nam to khage yore, Namba na so ke khage yore te, Kharwa te ngo te Jeng Tuba yo mare, Jeng Tuba yo mare te me jen to la namba na so ke khage yore, Charju te la ta khamba da ba kare ngore te na, Rondro do do wa te ta te Penne kaya me ba mo ron yin te,
And then in addition to that, we need to take the fourth step, which is recognizing that spontaneous occurrence is self-liberated. So when there's a spontaneous occurrence that's happening, its essence cannot be established as anything, and yet at the same time, still anything can appear. We can have good thoughts, we can have bad thoughts, we can have thoughts of the afflictions, we can have thoughts of relative bodhicitta, we can have various different thoughts. They all occur. And yet at the same time, the essence of what occurs is not established as anything. While it is not anything, it is emptiness. It can appear in all sorts of various ways. So the benefit of this is that when we realize this, then they're self-liberated. That means that they can't harm us in any sort of, in any different way, in any sort of way. And so their nature is naturally, spontaneously liberated. And so this is called the self-liberation of spontaneous occurrence. So in this way we have these three different phrases, the looking at the mind in stillness that we talked about yesterday, and then from today we had the looking at the mind in motion and looking at the mind in relation to appearances. So there are these three phrases, and within the third there are the four steps. There's seeing appearances as mind, the mind is empty, the emptiness is spontaneous occurrence, and the spontaneous occurrence is naturally liberated. So first these occur to you in your mind, then you view them, then you experience them, and if you do this, it will really have tremendous benefits for you. These phrases, these sentences contain really critical points and important instructions, a very profound meaning. And so I'd like to ask you, please do not think that these are unimportant. Remember them over and over again. Meditate upon them, look at them, and study them over and over again. I ask you to please do this.
Tabayo, did a juice on the reason you are and the carrying Maja, Marata, Yom to you are Angaranga, Yom to you did la carrying Maja, Perna, Chuyu, Lemba, the Yum you are, Chodo Lemba in the Yom to you are, Pity in the Marata, Saint and Nelu de Nate, the Nel Honto, Nate, and Darome, Damita, you are.
And so now to turn to the song of Khenpo Gangashar, we are on the song, the supplication to the two Jangans on page 6. And this song is taught in the form of a 7-branch prayer. Yesterday we discussed the branch of prostrations, and then second we talked about the branch of offerings. And so today we've come to the third stanza, the stanza of confessing misdeeds. So there is a stanza for each of these 7 branches. Now, here in confessing misdeeds, is it a confession of misdeeds of body and speech? It is not. It is, so then what is it confessing? Well, what it's confessing is the fact that we haven't yet recognized the nature of the mind. And so as it says, you're all embracing 3 secrets: natural awareness, spontaneous great perfection. So the all embracing, the nature of mind, embraces everything. It pervades everything. And what is its essence like? Well, its essence is like the inconceivable secret of speech, the inconceivable secret of, the inconceivable secret of body, the inconceivable secret of speech, and the inconceivable secret of mind. These are the 3 inconceivable secrets. These are the natural awareness, spontaneous great awareness. They're naturally awareness, they're spontaneously great and awareness. So this is there's the spontaneous great perfection, Dzogchen. So this is the nature of things. But do we realize the nature? Well, what is this nature like? It does not go anywhere and are innate, as inseparable from ourselves as water from wetness. So do these 3 secrets, does the nature of the mind go anywhere? It doesn't go anywhere. It's always with us. It's always present with us. It's always present with us without going anywhere. It's like water and wetness. When you have water, wetness comes along with it. They are always together. In the same way, the nature of our mind has always been inseparably present with us. And it has always been inseparably present from us.
Pento kind of menu at the condition lower kuntu market deadly, Nita lower to kuntu de Nontu Mandawa, Maripe, Mandawa, Maripe market, Drippy, Dribbly, Tiggetini, Takorwa, Champion, and sending the Ronja de Mantoa, Natati part of the Random Rami or the Inna, who's sending Jario Marilla, sending them to Manjaro, then the Karenchungi or Sena, Super Consum Janto Chimbono, Sain, Korogan, the Longo, Korwale Tario Mare, Korwale Madarwate, Korwale Tabak Joe, Nisendi General Kempade, Rama, Yore, the Inayante, Kuntoka Dubne Majum, De Majum and Korwala, Korogan Janto Chimbono. Senhora, Coroi Janto Tempola, Sene, Carece Yoresena, Longignate, Nialwa, Yedo, Tundro, La, Mete, Longignala, Kine, Leso, Kene, Zonte, Digni, Sokin, Digni, Demo, Sobarella, Tane Zonte, Tonji Long Dam, Tony Chimpu Long Dam, Moshibate, Sending and the Rondo Lente, the Yedemane, Yabate, Yonsu Moshibate, Tony Chimpu Long, Nitig, Nitum Tenzo, Damne, Shabapro Indi, the Tapa, the Nitig, Yenting to the Taruki, Ati, Shabapro.
And so the nature of the mind is inseparably present for us, but up till now it hasn't benefited us. And why is that? Well, the reason is that obscured by the pitch dark of adventitious misperceptions. So we have many different thoughts, many misperceptions, thoughts, and it's like that creates the darkness of ignorance, or the pitch black of ignorance. And because of this, we have not recognized the nature of our mind, and we end up wandering in the oceans of samsara. And so because of this, we do not see our own true face and sink in the ocean of existence. So the nature of the mind is inseparably present with us, but we have not actually seen the nature of our mind. We haven't encountered the nature of the mind. And because of not encountering the nature of the mind, what happens? We sink into the ocean of the three realms of existence. We are not freed from the ocean of the three realms of existence. The cause for freedom from the oceans of existence is the nature of the mind. It's present with us, but because it is obscured by the obscurations of misperceptions, we sink into the ocean of existence, and because of that, we perform the accumulations of the 5 classes of beings. In other words, the 5 classes of beings means the hells, the hungry ghosts, the animals, the gods, and humans. We are born in these realms. We accumulate a karma, and as a result of that, we sink in the ocean of existence. And so may these be completely purified in the expanse of the billion-fold universe. And here, the phrase, the billion-fold universe, is incorrect. It should say, in the expanse of great emptiness. And so may they be completely purified in the expanse of great emptiness. So we confess them, and we vow to refrain from them within the expanse of great emptiness. So they're recognizing the nature that is innately present with all of us. Then we purify these, and so in this way we're confessing all the downfalls that come about from not recognizing the nature of our mind. And request that they be purified. And so this is the branch of confession. The next branch is the branch of rejoicing. And here, what we are for the rejoicing, it begins by saying all phenomena appear as multiple. And so there is the way phenomena appear, and there's the nature of how they are. In terms of how they appear, all phenomena appear as multiple, and yet at the same time, ultimately, from the play of a single wisdom. They come from the play of a single wisdom. So in this, because of this, the victor's deeds, the light of benefit and happiness. And so because of the power of that single wisdom, it is able to bring benefit to sentient beings like light. And so it's the light of benefit and happiness. And so this enters oceans of realms. It is able to enter all and engage all of the different realms. The activity of the Buddha is able to engage in all realms. The nature of the mind enters all realms. And yet the sentient beings it's difficult for them to realize it. So it says, countless beings turn their minds to faith because of your power. Here there's a missing phrase here. It should say, countless childish beings unable to conceive of it turn their minds to faith because of your power. Childish beings unable to conceive of it turn their minds to your power. It is difficult for them to understand this nature of the mind that is present within it, and yet they still turn to faith because of its power. And because of this, I will not accept or shun anything. I will not try to react to things by taking them or shunning them. And I rejoice with undefiled delight in the Buddha nature, or the nature of the mind that is present in all sentient beings. The fifth of the seven branches is the branch of supplicating supplication to turn the wheel of the Dharma. And the reason to make this supplication is that the vast gathering of disciples, all beings, is limitless as the realm of space. So there is no end to space. There is no limit to space, and in the same way, there is no limit, no end to sentient beings. And so all these limitless sentient beings are mothers throughout space, drift upon waves of unbearable ills, and yet haven't given up that essential vitality. And so what has happened to sentient beings? They are tortured by they're afflicted by various different sufferings. They're afflicted by they're oppressed by the afflictions. They experience and are overwhelmed by various thoughts, by the afflictions, various thoughts and sufferings. And so they drift upon the waves of unbearable ills. And yet at the same time as they're afflicted by so many different types of suffering and the afflictions, they haven't given up that essential vitality. The essential vitality is the Buddha nature, the nature of the mind that is still present in the continua of sentient beings. It's present within their beings, and yet they do not recognize it. And so what is the method for them to recognize it? Extend the rope of your compassion with its many skillful approaches to Dharma. And so, by teaching the various different types of Dharma, the expedient meaning, the infinitive meaning, and all of the inconceivable different types of dharma, then you're extending the rope of compassion to the desperate beings sinking in a poisoned ocean, so they experience various suffering. And so you extend the rope, or extend the hook of the compassion, and grant us the relief of reaching liberation's shore. And so this is the request to turn the wheel of Dharma. The sixth of the seven branches is the request not to pass into nirvana. And so this is a request, please don't pass into nirvana. Please stay in this realm to help sentient beings. And so what is the reason for this? It is that the fires of wisdom have completely consumed the entire jungle of attributes or conceptions, change and appearances. And so there are all the different conceptions, all the different, these are the various different thoughts that occur. There's the nature of the mind, the nature of the dharmata, and that is, and the wisdom, the fires of, and within this there appear the various thoughts. The coarse thoughts, they're like a forest, they're a jungle of conceptions, and they appear in changing ways and various appearances. But they only appear within the nature of the mind, and so the strength of the recognition of the nature of mind, the fire of wisdom, is able to burn up and incinerate all of the discards within the mind. And how is it able to do this? The power of one single samadhi gives you mastery over bringing the web of dancing thought into rebirth. And so the power of a single samadhi is able to gain mastery over all of the thoughts that come or that go and then come. And this gives the mastery over taking rebirth in the three realms of samsara. So you have this perfect capacity. Since the ever immovable Vajrakaya is stable and is unchanging as a mountain, so if you do not pass into nirvana because you have the Vajrakaya, in essence is as stable as the great king of mountains, Mount Meru, the sun of wisdom, illusory music, remains undiminished throughout this realm. This is a request, please stay in this world. Do not pass away, stay in the world. So this is the request to not pass into nirvana.
Dagin number Tichigan, Honki Sebata, Hinki Sebit number Carvege, give it our car, Yabate no, Corson Yum Tay, Lime, Yitruja Jebate, Ade, more Porto, more Nupota, more Yurte, Della Tumbamema, Corson Yum Tay, Lebamaimba, Yitruba, Jansu Jebate, Yitruba. Namanazo Jebata, Khenpo, Jebe, Sasin Chuju, Droa to the Demon Jur Mona, Setanazo, Sentinel, Jetawa in the Tune, Sachin Ponte, Droa to them, to Jurate, Demon Gambote, Condozum, Jurua, yet the man and number 2% Tiba, Tiki Mola, Topala, Topacetor, Mona. Ridola componente, ridola componente, se ciucui del ongelco, ciucui componente topolico, sono non chiamare.
Next is the seventh and last of the seven branches, which is sealing with dedications and aspirations. And the dedication is that dedicating all positive actions, my own and others' virtues, as vast as the Dharmakaya. So it is extremely vast. The Dharmakaya is extremely vast, and this is dedicating all of the virtuous actions that are as vast as the Dharmakaya. These are my own and others. So all of the virtuous actions that we ourselves and others have done that are untainted by the muddy stains of the three spheres, an ocean of imagined offerings. And so they're untainted by the thoughts of there being someone dedicating, a thing being dedicated, and someone to whom it is being dedicated. So free of any grasping at that, it is untainted by the muddy stains of the three spheres. We are making offerings, mentally emanated, imagined offerings. Imagined offerings as a cause for attaining the sublime stage of the primordial Lord endowed with the six liberations. And so this means that we are dedicating all of this virtue in order to realize the nature of the mind as it is, become a lord of all the six classes of beings, to achieve the state of the primordial Buddha, Samantabhadra. So this is to recognize that we have been awakened to Buddhahood from the very beginning, and to achieve the state of that Buddha. And having manifested the level of my Guru, the Lord of Family, may I command the citadel of the Dharmakaya. And so, reaching the level of the Guru, may I be able to achieve the level of the Dharmakaya. And so the dedication is made for this sake. And so first we begin by gathering the accumulation of merit through these seven branches. And next is the aspiration to engage in activity on behalf of the teachings of the two Jamgas, to remove any faults and to spread their qualities. And it says, until I attain that, until I achieve the state of the Dharmakaya, arriving at the citadel of Samantabhadra, in all my lives may I be free from the mire of lower births. May I be freed from the karma and afflictions that would cause rebirth in the lower births. And with a precious human body like a wish-fulfilling jewel. So attaining a precious human body, and when I've attained that, a precious human body that is like a wish-fulfilling jewel, may I be accepted by the incomparable pair. The incomparable pair are the two Jamgans. May they accept me lovingly out of compassion. And with the strength fully developed through the profound nectar-like instructions. So they give instructions. The instructions are like the nectar of Dharma. And because of receiving the instructions, may we be able to develop our strength fully. And with that fully developed strength, may we master the qualities of wisdom, power, and love. And with pure faith and samaya, may I gain the ability to serve the supreme teachings. Because of that power that comes from receiving the nectar of the pure instructions, may I develop the capacity and ability to serve the supreme teachings and spread these teachings.
Khenpo by the Tanzania, I'll rank a two bottle, some bottle, combination and bottle. Sonjit, Tombichi, Tinela, Supercon, Rondet and Troadon, Tarako, Sinti Hiena, Tamba, Tanzania, Conte de Chuji, Doctor, Tensani Conte de Bayana, Jitin Chuji, Torne, Tombitula, Tusam matin, Tusam Sene, Tietu Jadango Dembe, Better Contarve, Tave, Chuken, Yon, Tito Joro, Topa Chepratin Jelagene, Yon Chepratin Jelagene, Tito Che, Concher, Arti Tule, Number Jalve Jasa Century, Concher, Arte, Nantula Kan, Sharwati, Ripa Arlatine, Chule, Nombra Jarsate, Tartu Pentevo, Nurto Topo Churche, Zonea, Ronda
The next stanza is an aspiration for his practice to go well. Whatever I do, may I strive solely for others' benefit, free from selfish desires. So whatever listening, contemplating, or meditating, whatever Buddha activity he engages in, may it be free or devoid of any selfish desires, and may it only be may I seek only to bring benefit to other sentient beings. Wherever I dwell, may I study and contemplate the genuine Dharma, free of the fetters of the 8 concerns. May my studying be free of the chains or the fetters of the 8 concerns. May I only engage in the study and contemplation, and thus have confidence in creation and completion, in the phases of creation and completion. With an effortless view, may I realize all phenomena as one. May I develop the excellent realization and the superior experience. And by realizing this, may I be able to focus awareness on whatever arises. So whatever occurs, whatever thought happens, may I be able to direct my awareness towards it. And by doing so, may I seize the citadel of complete victory. This means may I be able to achieve the ultimate result of practice. And so this is an aspiration to bring the perfect benefit to oneself.
I think on that person who can do Zechin nomba ngai temba la seru sipi ke nanam de jal Jin no Banga, the Candidate, Tene, Tanta Marbatan, Malare Bala Subatan, Tanta Muchu Dojela Suban, Mamu, Kajik Monte, the Jin no Banga, Tombo de Swan. Ade Jesu, Tene, Tudichinda Tempoji, Memo Tento, Dama Tento, Tute to Dune, Dama de Swan, Ibade, Tenisumbate, Tene, Samote, Susuto, Tente, Tute to Dune, Tente Swan, Yivate, Nejazikante, Senatano, the Consumato Pateno, Nijangarum, which Kore, Samuni, Jazikante, Dor, Ningawate, he's a Nelu to commander, the Tentu Chimpo, he's a Jajin of Nas, Tembate, Perni, Sunji Tembala, Conquest, Avanzebala, Tatik, the Sunji Tembala, Candidin, Avanzebala, Sarma, Ima, Kama, Perma, Nonja, Dama, Sape, Duni, Nidama Rinpoche, Chutu Chobate, Jejina Banai Noro, Jeni Noro, Jejina Banai Noro Tabate, Jumare, Te Jonaya, Dalla Koye, Tsuri Miki, Roder Lugi, Lonshin Tsu, Tatelia, Croata Rimambo Jumare, Zone, Tajina Banala, Tetan Croata Bata, Te non mixata le cinte della Croata Minkaki Jumare. Nima te tense traba mini anda kahe le chite de tapayo mane se kendo bota de croata me jomara tenso churi ke meeting lote lu jen da lo porta lu jen lomboche chuta de jomare tenon da de remti tenon ke croata bata ne patero de hekuri ora te hekuri chetola menon jana.
Now, following this aspiration for the perfect benefit for oneself is an aspiration to serve the teachings of the Buddhas, and in particular to serve the teachings of the 5 treasuries that were compiled by Jamgon Kongtrul Lodro Tai. So what are these 5 treasuries? Well, the first treasury is the treasury of Kagyu Mantra, which collects all of the tantric teachings that were passed down from Marpa, Milarepa, and so forth, and also from Ngojuku Dorje. So all of the mantra instructions of the Kagyu tradition. These are collected in the first, the treasury of Kagyu Mantra. The second collection is gathers all of the pith instructions of the 8 practice lineage, the 8 chariots of the practice lineages, all into one, and this is called the treasury of precious instructions. The third treasury gathers all of the profound teachings of revelations, or Dharma, into one, and this is called the treasury of the collection of the treasury of precious Dharma. And the fourth treasury gathers all of Jamgon Kongtrul Lodro Tai's writings that are not included in any of those into one, and this is called the treasury of the vast word. And the last one is the treasury of knowledge, which explains the nature of all knowable phenomena. So these are the 5 teachings. These are the 5 treasuries, and we need to spread the teachings contained with them, and in this way act on behalf of the teachings of the Buddha. Now, so these instructions are, as it says here in the second lines there, this is the jewel of the 5 treasuries, the supreme precious collection of profound instructions on the Kama and Dharma of the old and new schools. So it contains all the the words of the Buddha, the Dharma from the Sakya, Nima, Kagyu, and Gelugpa schools, all in one. And so there's this treasury, this great jewel of the 5 treasuries there. But there are people who criticized it, and this is what is called in the first line, a herd of elements act out their wrong views and cast aspersions. So even though there has been this great collection, there have been critics of the 5 treasuries. In particular, there are critics of the treasury of precious Dharma. There was the treasure revealer Tenzin Dorje, who said that these were not clean and not good additions, and criticized this. But this is a view that came out of bias and out of wrong views. He was acting out of wrong views and casting aspersions. And the people who do this are like elephants, a herd of elephants destroying the teachings. And so we need to eliminate all of the criticisms, harms or pacify all of the criticism and harm to these treasuries. And so this is what the aspiration is for. And so the teachings need to be protected, as it says here. May the Vajra of scripture and logic that guards liberation crush this degeneracy into dust, not in hatred but out of compassion, and guide them to the true teachings. So this needs to be countered. Then we need to have methods in order to pacify these criticisms, or to subdue these criticisms. But it must not be out of hatred. It must be out of compassion, and in particular, out of non-referral compassion, that we need to overcome and subdue, pacify these obstacles. And so this is the activity in general of the Dharma practitioners, but it's not just of the Dharma of the Dharma protectors. It is may the Vajra of scripture and logic that guards liberation. So it is all of those students who descended from the two Jamgon Rinpoches. May they use the logic of scripture and logic to guard liberation, to crush this degeneracy into dust, to overcome these wrong views and to entirely destroy them, pulverize them, and crush them into dust. And by doing so, may this guide them to the true teachings. May it guide people to the actual true teachings. And so, when the master Tenzin Drogpa had made the criticisms, as historically happened, he made the criticisms of the treasury of precious instructions. The 15th Karmapa Kachak Dorje wrote a text rebutting him called the Vajra Scripture and Logic that Guards Liberation. So in particular, it is may beings over and over again use write texts such as this and overcome these obstacles. Next is an aspiration, not just to remove obstacles to the teachings, but also so that the teachings may spread and flourish. in all the realms pervading space, which even a billion worlds do not represent. And so, in every realm in space, in every instant, when disciples apprehend the merest explanation of the 5 treasuries given by your many emanations to aspirational practitioners, so there are many emanations who teach the 5 treasuries and who spread the teachings of the 5 treasuries. And when this happens, they are completely ripened. So they are the students in the traditions of the 2 Jamgon Rinpoches, and their actions of the 3 gates become meaningful. Their actions of body, speech, and mind become meaningful. And when this happens, may the enlightened activity of the 2 lords of the family, the 2 Jamgons, stirring samsara from its depth, expand in all directions. May the teachings expand everywhere. In particular, it is the teachings of the 5 treasuries, but it is especially the teachings of the Buddhas, of Buddhism in general. And so here, this is an aspiration that that Buddhism in general, in particular the 5 treasuries, may flourish. We've had the aspiration that any threats to the 5 treasuries be pacified, that their teachings may flourish and expand, and once we have prayed in these ways, not only we also pray that we one-pointedly to the 2 Jamgon Rinpoches with faith and devotion, so that we will be able to receive their blessings. From now on, without forgetting for even an instant, I venerate my 2 masters, the 2 Jamgons, day and night on the crown of my head. So we imagine them on the crown of the head. We supplicate them. We pray to them with one-pointed longing, never being distracted. Praying to them, and this is without forgetting even an instant. Never putting it off. Never forgetting about it. Never not having time. That at all times, during the birth, death, and the bardo, may they reveal their faces looking with great love. During the birth, so at times when I am born, when I die, when I'm in the bardo, may the 2 Jamgon Rinpoches look at me with compassion and show their faces, reveal their faces with great love. And may I attain the excellent good fortune of seeing them unobstructedly as if right before me. So may we have the good fortune to be able to see them directly right in front of us. And so this is the aspiration, to be able to receive their excellent blessings. And so that is enough for today's session. And so I'd like to ask you to please do make good aspirations. And now we will do a little bit of meditation.